I booked over $40,000 worth of work with a $500 camera. And I'm not talking about working with the local rinky-dink businesses. I'm talking about working with the Dallas Mavericks and so many other awesome brands. The point of this video is not only that you can create great content with minimal gear, but the truth that the clients that you're trying to work with really do not care about the type of gear you bring on the shoot. So in this video, I'm gonna give you everything you need to know about how to book better clients, more clients, and make more money with the camera that you have access to right now. So point number one is it's not the vids you make, it's the hands you shake. Now, this is such a true statement and it rings true in my life. Now, I think I'm a pretty good cinematographer, video editor, and all of these things. I've actually taken the time to learn and really be good at my craft, but I don't think it takes much to see other videographers who maybe don't really understand simple things like composition, basic editing techniques that still make a lot of money, have a high following, and do such a good job. I mean, we've seen it in those TikToks and Reels where the guys offer to make a video to the business and then the video's like not that good at the end. But these people still have huge followings and they're making money doing what they love. Again, I'm in no way saying, you know, cheap out on learning and becoming the best. I think you should do that. But I do think that something that a lot of us miss in the pursuit of building a business out of videography, photography, or design is that it really is all about your network and who you know. I want to use my experience with the Mavericks as an example in this. So I actually was a creative director at a church in Dallas, and we brought on one of the coolest couples in photography in Dallas. It's Highvis and Missy Monoxide. They're some really cool people, and you should check out their Instagrams if you're into street photography. But basically, they had access to a Mavericks campaign, and when the head of product asked that awesome couple, yo, do you know any videographers? He was like, I do know a videographer. He asked me, hey, do you have a reel, like a sizzle reel? I didn't at the moment. I made one in about 10 minutes. I sent it over and I booked the job. My biggest job, my biggest client ever, just simply off of knowing the photographers that were gonna be on the team. So the first hack I wanna give you guys to really multiply your revenue and work with cooler clients without having to spend $20,000 on a camera or something like that is to get out in your city and meet successful creatives, successful people. And if it's not in your city, then reach out to them via Instagram, DM, all of that stuff, and get in touch with these people that you admire and become friends with them. That way you guys can work together on projects and you guys can bring value to each other. And that brings me to point two, which is that your skills matter way more than the gear you use. Now, I said it in the intro. I made over $40,000 with just a $500 Facebook Marketplace buy. That's right, I bought a Sony 6300 for $500, and I booked so many clients and worked with that camera for prices that you probably wouldn't believe if I told you. And the reason for that is that I have spent so much of my time learning so many things that are more important in my opinion than the actual camera itself. So one, I've learned the basic fundamentals of videography and I have mastered them. Things like composition, you know, understanding how to light and expose scenes, understanding pacing, how to talk to talent when you're at shoots, you know, how to communicate with clients, how to make talent feel comfortable when you're directing and shooting videos. And then on top of that, a whole other side of things is how to edit the videos yourself. I've invested a lot of time into learning advanced motion graphics and typography and color grading. Like, I've really put in so many hours, days, and weeks into learning and becoming the best at so many soft skills and hard skills that surround the price tag of your camera that will level up and bring whatever footage you're using to a whole other level. And that's really the hack. If you are working with a limited budget, you have your older brother's camera and that's all you have to use, or maybe you're a youngin' in college and you just don't have that much money to spend, buy a camera that can do your bare minimum necessities and learn how to magnify and amplify the good in that camera. For that Dallas Mavericks shoot, I was actually using an A6300, which I bought off Facebook Marketplace for $500. And then I also had a Canon 80D, which is a photography camera, but I used it for video because I was just more comfortable putting that on my $30 Amazon Steadicam. But out of those conditions, out of that limited budget that I had, I created 4 Fox commercials that aired live on TV. I created 2 Jumbotron like halftime show things for them. I created like standing rotating footage for the arena. I created over 40 social media cuts for them. I even got a chance to film Big Sean in one of their like City Edition launch parties, and all of this with a super minimal setup. What made me able to do that though was being so skilled in the things that surround the camera, like the editing, like understanding how to use the camera at its core, and just providing a good client experience in the days of shoots. So point number 3 is create a value proposition that separates you from your peers. So at the time that I booked the Maverick shoot, I was just a freelancer. I hadn't built my agency. I hadn't built a business really around it. It was just me. And they had just booked me to produce the content, AKA to just shoot the content. And then I was supposed to deliver all of the footage for their internal team to edit. Well, I wanted them to love me. I wanted them to be so integrated with what I do that I said, you know what, I'm gonna charge you just for what you need, but I also want to edit and cut up these pieces for you so you don't have to, so your internal team doesn't have to. With that, I created value. You know, they could have gotten my quote, right? And they could have shopped around and picked 4 other videographers who would have done it for probably a little less or about the same. Instead, I said, no, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna give you more. I'm gonna give you value out of this transaction. This is not just a mutual thing. I am adding value to you, understanding that, you know, working with the Mavericks was going to add value to me. So I did just that. I also got them to tag me in the posts that they had, which was really cool too. But the idea of bringing value to every project, paid or not paid, but always over giving, being generous and giving more, is not only just a good thing to do as a human, right? But it makes people want to work with you more. What we don't want to do is book one-off projects with people we never meet again, right? We want to incentive for them to continue hiring us. I want to have 5 brands, 5 businesses that just continually books me for everything. That's my goal. And the easiest and fastest way to get there is by providing more, over delivering on your promise. So remember, create a value proposition where you're giving, or at least making it seem like you're giving them a whole lot more than they're paying for. And the last tip I'm gonna give you guys to maximize the gear that you have right now and to show you that you can, is you have to take time to build your brand. I don't know if you're building a production company, if you're building a photography business, or if you're just branding around yourself, but you need to create a brand. And the first thing you can do to start this is create a visual identity for your service. That means create a logo, create a website, create things that legitimize and add credibility to your service. That's like step number 1, right? Because if people can see your professionalism, if people can see how clean your stuff is, people have a place to go look at all your work. If it's not just an Instagram guy with a camera, right? You're already separating yourself so much from the other people doing it. And the second part of this, and the second part of building a brand, is creating systems for your client experience. When I have meetings, I have materials that people can look at as visual aids. I create presentations when I have meetings with people. You know, I don't just talk to them. I don't just send them a little email. I don't just send them a quote. I send them a proposal, a presentation, like a graphic showing of it. You know, when we're talking about the scope of a project, of a video that I'm doing, I have a chart that I created with my branding, with my logo and everything that I can show them and send to them to remember. I think these things are super important. These are things that make clients stick. These are things that make clients talk about you differently. You know, you don't want to be known as the rinky-dink videographer or as the rinky-dink photographer in St. Louis. You want to be known as, yo, this guy, I'm surprised this guy doesn't have this many clients already. You want to be living and performing at the level in which you know that you will be, even if you're not there yet. Even if you have a $500 camera, even if you have a $300 camera, you want to be operating at the level of somebody who has a $10,000 camera. That's really the hack. That's really the message here, is that we get so caught up in, you know, the camera price and the thing and the gear and this and that we forget that there's so much more. You know, I would rather hire a smart person who knows nothing about content, but I know they have an ability to learn and adapt, than somebody who just bought a $20,000 camera and like posts about it to flex on socials. Like that's not what we want to do here. But I wanted to take this moment and this time to share with you my story, how I got my business started really. And you know, after that, I was able to buy the new cameras. I was able to buy the new stuff thanks to all of that income that I had. To the creative watching this, to the videographer who just started, or maybe to the dude who's working a 9-to-5 that you just can't afford to get the expensive stuff, so you just automatically like subtract yourself from the conversation or stop building your business around it. Like you have what it takes, you have what you need. So take these tips, take these steps. I think these are practical things you can implement to your workflow, to everything that you're doing, and go and do it. But that's going to be the end of this video. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Join the community by actually being an active commenter on our channel. Commented, go and comment on someone else's comment. I love seeing that, and I always reply to every comment, so make sure you do that. If you have any questions or anything you want me to cover in regards to this field, videography, photography, design, any of that stuff, let me know in the comments. I'd love to make a video just for you, and hopefully other people have the same question. Please just make sure you go hit the like button. It helps so much with the algorithm. You have no clue. And remember that no matter where you are today, whether you have a $25,000 camera setup or a $300 one, or you just have your phone, just remember to stay grateful. Peace.